Guess what we're getting ready for? Yep, we're going to get that rye in. We're going to try. I never combined rye before, but we got to put the head on. This is an International 1440 combine. And what we recently did, we had the corn head hooked up to it. And I just put it on skids for now. It'll go onto a cart later on. We're going to swap the carts between the grain head and the corn head. But this was the corn head here. It's a 4-row. So we took that off. And now I got to do some adjustments on the combine and get it ready for grain, small grains. It was set up for corn. So that's what we got to do now. In the front here, we got this roller, and what we need to do is we need to lower it for small grains. And how you do that is right here. I got to loosen up these nuts and get a crowbar and pry this and make it go down. So what that'll do is that'll force this roller down more to get a better grip on everything. Right now it's set up for corn. So there's going to be a big gap right there, see? So I'm going to lower that so it'll suck in this grain. Okay, what I need to do is I need to drop this down, put it in this notch. So I'm going to use a crowbar real gently. There. Dropped right into place. Okay, now you can see a difference how low that dropped that drum. And it'll pick up that grass a lot better. Okay, what I need to do next to go from corn to small grains, I got this here, it's very important. Discharge beater bottom. I want to go up for grain, down for corn. So this one and this one. Make sure that's up. Okay, here's another thing I have to adjust, the concaves. And you can see here, 9 is clean out, so that opens it up, wide open, okay, for 9. I had it on like 5 when I was doing corn, which is open quite a bit. What they recommend for small grains starting out is right around 2 or 3. And what that does is inside the combine where it threshes, it actually closes it up so that it cleans it better. Say a cob of corn goes through, you want it just tight enough to get the kernels off that corn. Same with the small grains. You just want it just enough, you know, to clean it up but not let all that trash through. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to send this back up to about in between. I'll go 2 and 3. We'll see what that does. Okay, we'll keep it about right there. When we go to try it out, we'll see what it does. Well, I just got done oiling the feed drum. I like to do that before I put my head on. It's just a little bit easier to do. Now I'm going to go into my grain head here and hook the combine up to it. Popped right on. So now I'm going to lift it up. I'm going to back it away from the cart. All right, now the most important thing here before I do anything else with this head, because I got to connect the bottom to the combine. I lift the head all the way up, okay, and I've got this safety feature here. This is very important on these older combines and probably newer ones. You got to lock the head in so that the head doesn't fall on you when you're doing your hookups underneath. This is where a lot of people, you know, can run into issues working on their head in the front, and if you don't have a mechanism like this to lock it in so it can't fall, it could fall on you and you could be seriously hurt or actually crushed. So I'm going to put this down. This is how it is on these Internationals, the older ones, and that locks that in. See, it'll hit there. If it can't fall, it locks the hydraulics in. Okay, now what I got to do, I've got my hoses here, and I got it color coded: blue, yellow, and white. So each hose goes to a different place. So I'm going to turn around on my combine here, and I painted the connectors: white, yellow, blue. So I need to hook the hoses up. We're going to go white to white. This one goes on here. The next one's blue. Okay, now we got all our hoses hooked up. Each hose does a certain operation. Okay, now I'm going to open up each side of the grain head here. I got some oiling to do, and an important part here is the sickle bar right on the end there, and then there's going to be a wobble box in there that I got to grease up. So I got to do that next. Okay, there's my safety down right there. I'm underneath, and I got to hook this up to this. It locks it in right like this, and then I got to hook the other side up. That holds the head to the combine. Plus we got it up top hooked under that beam like I showed you before. So now I'm going to go ahead and lock this in. I might have to do some adjusting with these nuts if I can't get it in, because I had the corn head on here before and it could have been a little bit different. Okay, there you go. I just locked it in. I just pulled that handle back and it fits on there nice. So like that U-bolt there, it just goes right around that. That's what holds that down. I got underneath hooked up on the combine. The two clamps are in. Now I got to hook up the PTO shafts. Now I'm on the other side and I got to hook the shaft into this side. I got the two shafts hooked up, one on one side, one on the other. This side controls the auger in the grain head, and the other side controls the cutting bar. Moves the cutting bar, so that's why we have two shafts. All right, now I got everything hooked up. Now I could take the safety off, and I'll be able to move the head up and down. I'm going to do that, and we're going to run it a little while. Just get things moving. Before we get started here with the combine, it needs to dry out just a little bit. Afternoon to evening hours is a pretty good time because everything's nice and dry. Right now the dew is still burning off. It's a little bit damp. So you want it nice and dry so it can go through the combine. So let's go in this field and just check it out and see what we got to deal with. Some of it's already fell over. We got some green on the bottom. So we're going to see. I'm going to try to take it all right down to the ground. If it doesn't work, then I might have to try to do it halfway. But you could see a lot of those weeds came up. Some weeds, but it's feeding nice. There's a weed here. It looks like a little potato. So it's feeding nice. I don't have the head all the way down to the ground, but there are some weeds, and we got to it a little bit too late. You can see how the deer have got it all matted down. There's trails throughout this whole field. So I'm going to get what I can. Well, folks, I had to stop combining. I got some bad news. Nothing happened to the combine. It was going right through this fine. But I found a weed, and it looks like this. See that right there? That's called Indian tobacco. Or another word for it is pukeweed. And the Indians used to actually take the leaves and they used to dry them out and use it as tobacco. And it grows when it's like really dry out. And you could see that it already went to seed and it's actually starting to flower. So I can't mix that with my rye, and I can't feed it to the cows because they would get sick. And if I was to use it as seed, with that being in it, we don't want that to grow in next year's crop. So what I've decided to do, I'm going to actually just disc bind this field, and I'm going to make some straw. So let me know if any of you guys ever ran into it. It's got little seeds on it. Looks like little tomatoes. I thought it was that horse nettle, but it doesn't have thorns on it like that does. So yeah, it's called Indian tobacco. I was hoping to have a nice video for you, you know, combining the rye, but unfortunately things happen. So what I'm going to do, I'll make a video on doing the straw. So I'll see you next time on Just Making It. Thanks for watching.